I'm back answering questions, trying to take as many as we can through the Facebook experience you all are having. Now, Chris Kelly asked in New York, what kind of vitamins do I take? So it's a very simple routine. By the way, I don't have any relationships to any companies that sell vitamins. All the ads that sometimes appear on the web are fake ads. If you see my face sponsoring something, you can guarantee I'm not really doing it, and they're probably doing it illegally, and for that reason, you don't want to participate. Now, that stated, here's what I do every morning. Get up, I get a multivitamin, simple pill, like a one a day, inexpensive, straightforward. I buy them from big companies, by the way, like you should, because the big company's not going to cheat you on the vitamins that they put in their vitamins. The biggest concern I have about vitamins is they say it's got 1,000 milligrams or something, but it doesn't actually have it in there. I want my regular multivitamin to have A, B, C, D, and E, all the 5 letters of the alphabet. Pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. The amount of each vitamin I put in all the books, the U-books we've written, and I've also got on Oprah.com, and we'll try to list them here on Facebook as well, but it's sort of the routine amount in a multivitamin. The one area I have a disagreement with most manufacturers is they don't put enough vitamin D in their multivitamin. Vitamin D to me is the most important vitamin, so I take extra vitamin D. I like them as lozenges, but you can take them as a pill. Vitamin D can come together with calcium magnesium. So your first pill is a multivitamin, pretty straightforward. Your second pill is a vitamin D supplement with calcium magnesium in it, maybe 1,000 milligrams of calcium and 500 of magnesium, and your vitamin D total with the two should be at least 1,000 to 1,200 international units. And then the most important supplement of all is actually DHA omega-3s. These, by the way, omega-3 fats come in sardines. A lot of the oily fish, salmon, have them. They're not the same fats that are in walnuts and flaxseed. Those are important omega-3 fats as well, but the DHA omega-3s are the most important ones for your brain. And they also don't cause any problems with bleeding. So you really want to focus on taking DHA omega-3s. If you don't get them from fish, you can get them from fish oils, like cod liver oil, which is a great source. But if you don't want to get them from fish because you don't want the toxin risk and you want a sustainable source, remember the fish don't actually make omega-3s, they eat them. Where do they eat them from? Plankton. So you can get vegetarian sources of omega-3s. They come in these small little pills. Because they're smaller than regular omega-3 fat pills, a little easier to tolerate. They don't have the same taste. They're inexpensive, and they're vegetarian, and they don't have any toxins in them. And because of that, they're sustainable for the environment. So again, one multivitamin, one vitamin D combo with calcium, magnesium, and then some source of omega-3 fats, preferably DHA. That's my routine, pretty straightforward. Take them every morning. You can take them on a full stomach, empty stomach, doesn't frankly matter that much. If you divide them up, take half in the morning, half in the evening, it's even better, but you don't have to be so anal about that as long as you're getting them in. Last question, why do you need vitamins? Get asked that all the time on Facebook. Well, the reality is most of us could get the nutrients we need from our diet, but most of us don't eat the diet that gives us those nutrients. And we did this survey on Real Age, and guess what we found? Less than 1% of people actually got the nutrients they needed from their food. So unless you're superhuman, you've got a great supply of food that has all the nutrients it used to have 100 years ago, you can't trust that an apple today has all the things that an apple used to have. So you probably better.
What you're looking at right here is 5 pounds of anatomically correct human fat, also known as adipose tissue. This is 17,500 calories of stored energy. This is what is obscuring your abs and causing systemic inflammation inside your belly. Because you know what? Fat can get sick. It's called adipathy. The internal visceral fat is the dangerous kind. There's 2 types of body fat, also known as adipose tissue. The subcutaneous kind that stores underneath the skin, and that's the healthy way to carry your fat. Then there's the internal visceral kind that stores inside your abdomen, causing you to have a bulging belly, and it can also make you sick. It is linked to many systemic inflammatory diseases such as insulin resistance and adult onset type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver disease, syndrome X, metabolic syndrome, and it's this type of fat that we want to address today. Hi, I'm Max Wettstein with MaxWettsteinFitness.com and Destination Health Plus. I'm also the co-author of How Much Fat Are You Carrying? Dr. Oz first talked about it on Oprah. Typically stores on the omentum, which is a fat storage depot inside your abdomen. It's an apron of tissue that covers the inside of your perineal cavity and surrounds your organs. It helps hold your organs in place. It helps with an immune response. It does serve a purpose. However, over time, a lot of fat can start storing on the omentum. And this type of omentum fat is the dangerous kind because it has a lot of receptors for cortisol, the stress hormone, and a lot of receptors for insulin. Insulin is a shuttle hormone that is secreted by the pancreas when we eat lots of sugars or high carbohydrate meals. Optimally, The insulin is supposed to act as a shuttle to take the blood sugar and send it into your muscles and liver and store it as glycogen for future energy. Over time, you can become insulin resistant or glucose intolerant, so your body and your muscles don't know how to use sugar very well or metabolize it very well, and they don't respond to insulin anymore. They become insulin resistant. Eventually, that can lead to type 2 diabetes. The best way to fix this is to just become more active. It's the sedentary lifestyle that leads to insulin resistance the most and glucose intolerance. Because the omentum organ has so many receptors for insulin and cortisol, whenever you eat high sugar meals, it kind of turbocharges the omentum into storing even more fat and also secreting inflammatory chemicals, pumping fat and other inflammatory chemicals directly into the liver via the portal vein. Now this contributes to fatty liver disease, further increasing the problem. Let's talk about cortisol, the fight or flight hormone, the stress hormone. It helps control inflammation, it helps wake you up in the morning, it helps motivate you and stimulate you during physical exercise. However, chronic elevated levels of cortisol, that's what can contribute to internal belly fat. The omentum, the fat storage depot inside our bellies, has a lot of cortisol receptors. So if you're chronically stressed or have elevated levels of cortisol, that's going to turbocharge the omentum into storing more fat as well, secreting more inflammatory chemicals. So let's talk about ways to reduce this internal dangerous belly fat. Okay, there's a couple different approaches, and they're all lifestyle approaches that you can do, that you can start doing today. Number one, talk about getting a healthy quality night of sleep. That's when you're going to process out all that excess cortisol that's treated during the day, number one. Number two, that's also when you get your biggest growth hormone hit. Now growth hormone is the most powerful lean body mass hormone that the body makes. You get your greatest growth hormone secretion during your first 2 or 3 hours of deep sleep phase, right after you fall asleep. That's critical. You've got to get that. Okay, the second approach is through diet. Let's go ahead and reduce the refined carbohydrates, reduce the sugars. If you are going to eat sugars, eat them strategically and in moderation. Eat them either before your workout or your post-workout window 30 minutes after exercise, because that's when your body's going to reuptake those sugars to help repair and replenish glycogen stores that you just burned, rather than storing the sugar as fat. Breakfast is a great way to start the day with balanced eating, protein, complex carbohydrates, and you can eat a little bit of sugar then too. We don't want to eat sugar or refined carbohydrates right before bed. Is exercise. High intensity exercise is directly linked to increasing growth hormone response and directly linked to burning internal belly fat. High intensity exercise. I understand a lot of you are scared to go high intensity, or you simply can't. Then just do what you can. Get moving. Sedentary lifestyle by far is what's going to contribute to not only the internal belly fat, but the diabetes, the heart disease, and all the other big scary things that can kill you. High intensity exercise, the magic happens when you feel that lactic acid, that good type of burn building up in your muscles, start to get into oxygen debt, which leads to the follow-on EPOC effect, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, which elevates your metabolism for hours afterwards. Now whenever you get that lactic acid accumulating in the muscles, that directly triggers a growth hormone response in the body. Okay, another approach. Let's talk about reducing stress in your life. Chronic elevated cortisol is a big contributor to internal belly fat deposit and buildup. So any way you can just reduce stress in your life, whether it's using caffeine in strategic moderation or reducing other stimulants, finding ways to just vent your stress through exercise or getting a massage or getting more sleep at night. Watch that late night eating and snacking. That's really going to do a lot of damage. You know it's your bedtime, you know you should be going to bed. Instead, you go into the kitchen and you get some empty calorie snacks and you turn on late night TV or get back on the computer and nothing good ever happens then. Now you've just lost 1 or 2 hours of your quality sleep window, just ingested another 200 to 500 of empty calories that are usually high in sodium, high in sugar, or high in fat, and now you've disrupted your sleep and compromised your growth hormone window. So avoid the late night binging and snacking. Take care of your liver. Do a liver cleanse, because it's your liver that helps metabolize fat and break down fat. Your liver produces bile, processes a lot of toxins, and if it's already overloaded, if you have any kind of fatty liver disease going already, that's just going to exacerbate the problem. So take care of your liver, do a liver cleanse, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of greens powder, watch the alcohol, watch the medications, and get the liver up and running again. Lastly, if you're over 40, whether you're a man or a woman, women go through menopause. Well, guess what? Men also go through a form of menopause known as andropause. Our hormones decline and taper off too. You might want to meet with a endocrinologist or some sort of health professional to get your hormones tested. Your testosterone levels and your growth hormone levels and your DHEA all starts to taper off past age 35, especially age 40. And those same hormones are responsible for improving lean body mass, not just making you big and strong, but also burning fat. So have your hormone levels checked. And don't forget about the thyroid. That's what drives your metabolism. Get your hormones checked. Find out where you stand. They have transdermal creams now, injections by a physician if you need it. There's also lots of natural supplements you can get right over the counter. Saw palmetto, pumpkin seed, DHEA, yohimbe, stinging nettle, lycopene, a lot of supplements that not only help you naturally boost testosterone, but maybe block harmful estrogen, healthy for your prostate. It's opinion only. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, this is Max Wetstein with MaxWetsteinFitness.com and DestinationHealthPlus.com. I hope you learned a lot. I hope I was able to help you. If you want to learn more, pick up a copy of my book, How Much Fat Are You Carrying? A Holistic Approach to Fat Loss and a Healthy Lifestyle. My Guide to Amazing Abs DVD. There's everything I just told you on here as well, example exercises. You can also check out my YouTube channel. There's over 100 free videos on the YouTube channel. My website is free. Go in there, dig around, you'll find what you're looking for. I guarantee you'll find the answer that you're looking for to help you not just get skinny, but get lean, improve your lean body mass. Optimum health should be a method of life. Focus on fitness and your ideal physique will follow.
Welcome back. Everyone wants a few quick weight loss tips, right?
It is.
Right? Our next guest has some you could try on this morning.
That's right. Dr.
Stephen.
Mehmet Oz, seen there, talking to Richard Simmons, is celebrating his 100th show tomorrow. The doctor is in answering our questions about weight loss. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's great to have you live in the studio. Last time you were here, you brought something and you kept it underneath a blue thing like that. It
We've
looks like
seen
you
your
brought
show. We know
something
what's
else
about to
in.
happen
That's
here.
right. Well, let's start off with the basics. Our 100th show is all about getting diet tips.
Okay.
Right? It's on tomorrow, and the reason we got these tips is people who lost a lot of weight, and everyone lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
They know how to do it. So we start off with a very basic idea of how important is the waist size. And the waist size is important
my
because
God, what is
this is the omentum. Now, that's about the size of your omentum. Hold it like that.
My
What is
what?
your omentum?
Yes. The omentum is what's underneath your waistline. That's why we measure your belly fat, and we want to make sure...
This is real?
That's real.
That's
Squeeze
a
it.
pot belly.
Yeah. Let me show you. If you've got 2 extra inches, so the average female should have about a 32.5-inch waist. Average guy, 35-inch waist.
Okay.
But if you've got 2 inches extra,
Jeez.
you've got this. Steve, come over here, Steve. Come over here and hold
No.
it. Come on now.
my
Come on, Peter. You want to help a little bit? Now, Julie, compare these.
I can hold my own.
You can hold my own. So I want you to be very visual. Normal waist size,
Wow.
2 inches extra. And if you're 4 inches extra,
Oh,
6
my
inches, you just
God.
double this, quadruple this.
Oh, my
Now,
God.
Where do
feel
you
the
get
difference?
something like this?
Now
You just
that-
take it out of...
These come from cadavers.
Oh, my God.
And the reason that we feel so passionately about explaining this to people, I'm going to put this over here,
Yeah.
is that I don't want you to take your gloves off.
Okay.
I don't want folks walking around thinking, hey, belly fat's just this little thing that if I could deal with it, it'd be fine. So I want everyone to take a measure.
Okay.
Right?
No,
Put it
no,
around
no,
your waist.
no.
Yes,
We're
yes,
not
yes.
doing that. No. And you
Peter,
want?
you're thin. You
No.
look
I take
great.
the
Stop
fifth.
that.
I'm not
Okay.
doing
What's
that.
your waist
Look at
size?
Dr. Oz. He's got a 20-inch waist.
Oh,
No,
that's
for God's sake.
impressive. A 33.5-inch waist.
Oh, nice,
Now, here you go.
Steve.
You want your height to be twice your waist and no more. So if you're, how tall are you?
6. I used to be 6'1", but I'm shrinking. 6 feet.
Let's say 60. 6 times 12, 72 inches. Half of that's 36 inches. Your waist size has to be lower than that.
So I'm at 33. I'm 3 under.
Exactly. Now, I was in Dallas at that All-Star game, so I was doing some television on FAA, and they call it the Dunlap. And I said, what does that mean? He said, because the fat Dunlap over my belt. You can, guys, never buy a new belt. You actually have to take your belt size and get rid of it, because guys wear their waist belt right on here, and the fat, you know, they wander around like this, waddle around.
All right.
You can actually measure it.
Now, Dr. Oz, you've got some tips. First off, you say that you should start your morning with oatmeal.
Oatmeal without question. And this is going...
Because it's filling?
Well, it's filling, but it gets you started off in the right rhythm. If you have oatmeal, blueberries, nuts, these are wonderful foods because they satiate you, and the fiber actually, it releases the sugar very slowly into your bloodstream, so you don't create the metabolic headaches that so often occur. Speaking of metabolism, green tea, wonderful tool to add instead of coffee once in a while. It's got a quarter of the caffeine of coffee, but it's young tea. That's why it's green, hasn't oxidized, gives you lots of those polyphenols that you know will stimulate your metabolism.
Right.
Wonderful tool to use as a weight loss, and plus you don't add cream and sugar to green tea the way you would with coffee. You avoid that headache.
There's caffeine, though. Caffeine in green tea?
There is caffeine. It's about a quarter of the caffeine.
Okay.
But if you have to put a little something in there, could you put some honey in it? Or
Honey, agave. You can use lots of things.
Pepper?
Peppers, I love.
I threw this all over
Pepper,
my
you can
pizza last night.
This
No.
is one of the big secrets,
What
I
does
tell
this
you.
do?
Capsaicin found in red
Capsaicin.
peppers, it actually reduces your appetite at the next meal. So if you have a spicy breakfast, but add these to your eggs, for example, in the
Okay.
morning, then for lunch you actually on average eat less. Big secret folks don't realize, when we were growing up, we had this size plates eating food. This is a
Yeah.
9-inch plate, right? The tape plates now were 11 inches. And
We
in
just want more and more and more.
We've
don't we?
supersized our
What
plate.
it is, this is almost twice as much food as this. And one final thing, the brain has 4 satiety centers. They are satiety centers and desires for water, for food, for sex, and for sleep. He's looking at the sex comments.
I was thinking about the sleep.
So if you don't have enough of one of the other ones, you're going to crave more food. You don't get enough sleep, for example, which you often don't do on the show.
That's right.
You're going to crave carbohydrates. And by the way, being intimate with the people you love is a great way of skipping a meal.
So let's go have sex right now.
We love his advice, don't we?
Dr. Oz.
All right, Dr. Oz.
Great pleasure.
Thank you, Tom.
Congratulations on your show, by
Nice
the
to
way.
see you.
100th episode.
Great show.
Thank you.
That's a fantastic show.
You're very
It is.
You're working with a lot of people I used to work with, too, so that's why.
That palm trees contain an ancient remedy that can slow down the aging process, fight belly fat, and combat heart disease. Palm trees native to Africa and Southeast Asia bear a hard-shell red fruit, which contains a powerful multi-purpose oil. Research shows that the phytochemicals pack a disease-fighting punch, making it one of the most powerful fruits on Earth. And there's a secret inside the flesh of this fruit, extending the warranty of nearly every organ in your body. This mega oil may very well be the most miraculous find of 2013. Miracle worker and alternative medicine expert Bryce Wild has been researching red palm oil. He thinks it's the miracle of the year. So what makes this oil the all-powerful miracle?
It's going to deliver a 1-2 punch unlike any other nutrient or food out there. Powerhouse nutrient number 1, keratin.
Keratin.
Keratin. It's a super powerful antioxidant. Keratin's like that. Look at this. Bright color. Red. This is the super antioxidant found in tomatoes and carrots. And it's got more than both of those combined. Powerhouse nutrient number 2, tocotrienols. That's a special form of vitamin E. Very, very cardioprotective. You can appreciate that. You combine these two together, and you are going to stop, just like you said, the aging process, protect the cells and all the tissues of your body.
So I had never heard of this before. I don't know how many of you have. But I'm a little startled that I hadn't, because I know it's used in so many parts of the world, and we're going to talk about the health benefits in a few moments. Why is it it's just coming to the States now?
I guess we really have been a little shy. A lot of researchers and docs have been shy about our consumption of saturated fats. And let's admit, there are some saturated fats in here, which is what keeps it thick. We'll talk about that. But this is the next miracle food, I'll tell you.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about it. Sure. Now, I talked about coconut oil last year. I also thought it was a miracle food. You guys have all been trying it. Again, it gives us sort of an exotic flavor to things. But I never thought anything we talk about would top it, especially for something that could be an adjunct like this.
Absolutely.
But I think this does.
It's very similar.
Palm oil is powerful. And I want you to look at all these oils over here. Right? We've talked about olive oils and almonds. All these great, exotic, wonderful oils. If you put all these oils together, they don't have the same antioxidant power, benefit of this one bottle of red palm oil. Which is, again, why I'm so stunned I'd never heard of this before. So, if it's so darn powerful, how much do we have to have in order to stop aging?
This is where it gets even easier. 2 tablespoons a day. We're going to show you how to incorporate that into your diet. But 2 tablespoons a day. And that's going to give you all the advantages of that tocotrienol I talked about, special type of vitamin E, as well as the keratin. See that bright reddish color?
I do.
Yeah.
So, we're going to, I don't want you just spooning this in, by the way. You're going to be replacing other fats in your diet with these. But let me show you why. I think the nutrients in these 2 spoonfuls of red palm oil can add back years to your life. Let's first off start with the brain, right? Because I think this will actually help protect us against Alzheimer's.
Absolutely. Well, you all see this apple. This apple is just like our brain. When it, when oxygen from the environment and stress hits it, it will ultimately denature. It will become rotten, like you see these brain edges. Now, we all know this culinary trick, this kitchen trick of applying a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice to our fruit salad or apple. That protects it, keeps it white, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, red palm fruit oil does the exact same thing in our brains. It protects our brains. That special tocotrienol we're talking about, special powerful form of vitamin E, it's actually going to increase blood circulation. It's going to reduce incidence of dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's going to protect our most important organ.
The next organ, one that's special to me, is the heart. And here we think that red palm oil might play a role in keeping these heart arteries open. Again, the heart's a majestic organ that's perfused by these little blood vessels. The question then becomes, how do we get more blood through those vessels? So I've got a little demonstration here. And Bryce, I'd love you to help explain to us why this oil, which has saturated fats in it, right, still can be beneficial and help protect the heart. Okay, so here are two arteries for everyone to get oriented. Two arteries are, matching arteries. And just see the little whitish stuff in here? That's the plaque. So give us an example of what happens if you have, for example, butter, a truly saturated fat.
Oil, bad saturated fat acts like molasses through your arteries, so it sticks and clogs to the artery lining, and once there's a particular inflammation there, these bad fats will lock up within the artery lining, causing plaque, blockage, and ultimately death.
Yeah, which is why we talk about the problems with saturated fat. Now, when you take the red palm oil, when it's cold, like it is in here, it gets solid, but when you warm it up in the body, it turns to liquid like this. This is why it's great to cook with as well. And those plaques we talked about in here, when you pour in red palm oil into your body in place of the other fats, it washes away that plaque and it doesn't clump in there. So you literally end up with a very different appearance. Other thing I want to highlight, again, this is stuff that I almost embarrassingly am talking about because I should have been talking about it earlier, is there was a nice study done looking at cholesterol levels. And they looked at folks, because red palm oil that's the main oil, main fat used in many parts of the world. Folks who are using this actually lowered their bad cholesterol by nearly 40% in 1 month. I mean,
That's
drugs
shocking.
don't even do that.
Right?
Drugs don't even do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next organ, Bryce. Explain to us why the omentum is important, because again, we believe this will help blast away fat.
Well, you made this popular. This is where we don't want fats accumulating. And the bad fats of the world, the margarines, and the other vegetable oils that we overconsume, they metabolize real slow. Ultimately, they get stored to this omentum, and they contribute to our waistline. We don't want that. But, we don't want to grow this stuff. At the end of the day, though, red palm fruit oil, in particular virgin organic is what we're wanting to look for, actually goes straight to the liver. And when it gets to the liver, it gets used up as calories for the day. That's what we're doing, is we're burning these calories for the day. And in fact, it actually might help to reduce your fat tissue concentration because you're not storing it, you're burning it. So it ignites your metabolism.
Well, let's go through this. I want you to really understand what's going on. When you put normal fat into your body, it's like lighting a candle. It'll slowly, gently be metabolized, which means it'll quickly go to your hips and your thighs and your belly, make you fat. All right. Because you're not burning it off very quickly. What Bryce is bringing up is the ability of smaller fats, like we talked about with red palm oil, to ignite your metabolism like that. Woo. That's what you want. This is what you want. Versus this. If you want to burn this away, you want this happening to you. This candle doesn't match to it, and the candle will never be able to go there. And this will burn, and it'll burn, and it'll burn as you ingest this into your diet. And there was, again, another study done looking at women who were eating 2 tablespoons of an oil that was like palm oil. And it helped them turn up their metabolism and it whittled away this belly fat that so many of you are frustrated by.
Absolutely.
Now, the good part. We just spent a few minutes of your time, I think well spent time, explaining why different parts of the body benefit from red palm oil. The key is, how is it used around the world and how are we going to use it in America? Because I think this will be the most popular new product we talk about this year in this country. It's going to change the way we cook. So walk me through your favorite ways of using the oil.
This is the thing. It's super easy, all right? So remember, at room temperature, it's semi-solid, and that's great to spread on your bread, for example, even to put on a little bit of, yams or potatoes. This is one of my favorite, a dusk oatmeal, all right? It's red, so throw some goji berries in there and amplify that antioxidant protection, but in itself, if all you have is the red palm fruit oil at home and some oatmeal, you know what? This is going to help protect you for the day.
What do you call it, dusk?
Yeah, well, it's from dusk to dawn, So this is the red color oatmeal.
Oh, that's good.
And you don't get that bitterness to it, right?
No, not at all. Do you have oatmeal at dusk?
Well, it's a healthier carbohydrate. It's a slow-releasing carbohydrate as opposed to any other snack. So I'm exercising at night often. I'm going to eat some red oatmeal. A red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. And that's a delightful food.
All right. And finally, Kelly, I mean, we talked a little bit about different ways of replacing butter margarines, but one of the biggest advantages is you can cook with this oil because it's not going to get destroyed by the high heat.
Absolutely. You know, salad dressing, it's easy to apply to salads as well, but it's a high smoke point. And a special high smoke point means that it's very stable. Most fats are actually unstable. They oxidize, they denature. This fat, because of that antioxidant power, again, the tocotrienol, special form of vitamin E, and the carotenoids, the carotene, is going to keep it stable, shelf stable, lasts a long time in your home, and it's going to stay stable in your cooking, in your food, in your wok, or whatever you decide to use.
Thank you for introducing these to us. All right. The miracles don't stop here. The number one thing people do for being productive in 2013 is your lack of sleep. I've got a brand new miracle to get